In my latest video, I've got 3 exciting topics to dive into, starting with this gem from the Crypto Basic. BitYCIO is giving major kudos to XRP, calling its community incredibly strong. But here's the thing. I don't just think our community is strong, I suspect it's way bigger than most people realize. Sure, no one can know the exact numbers, and I'll explain why, but my gut tells me we're far larger than we're given credit for. And honestly, whether it's about size or influence, it's the motion in the ocean that counts. Let's be real. XRP has the best community in all of crypto, period. The biggest? Sure. Bitcoin might have the numbers, but that space is just dripping with toxicity. Meanwhile, we're out here thriving. The atmosphere over there is so toxic. If it's not Bitcoin, they're completely against it. Meanwhile, in our group, it's like hanging out with everyday folks who actually stop and think, hey, this XRP thing makes sense. It's a solid investment with real utility, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And we're open-minded too, curious about what other coins bring to the table. We're like, oh, that one does something cool. Interesting. Tell me more. You can't do that in the Bitcoin community. Over there, it's Bitcoin or nothing. No room for exploration. That hardcore vibe is honestly exhausting. That's why I'm so grateful for our group. It's a totally different energy. Also, there's been an update I've been discussing on the channel lately, something that ties into all of this. Saudi royalty, as I mentioned, has reportedly been holding XRP for nearly a decade now. And they're not just holding, they're making massive moves. We're talking investments north of $100 million pouring into XRP and its ecosystem. There's been a new twist on this, and attorney John Deaton shared some interesting insights I'd like to highlight. To cap things off, I'll share thoughts from a former Ripple employee who had a powerful message. Paraphrasing here, but essentially he said, we're no longer playing defense, we're all out on offense. And honestly, isn't that the truth? It's wild how things change. All it took was leveling the playing field, getting the government interference and lawsuit drama out of the picture, and now XRP is out here winning on a global scale. Before we dive in, let's get one thing straight. I'm not a financial expert, and this is not financial advice. Seriously, don't make any buy or sell decisions based on what I say or write. Cool? Cool. Now let's talk about the buzz. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan is singing XRP's praises. In a recent keynote at the XRP's potential, he celebrated the passion and strength of its community. After his speech, he shared snapshots of the energetic crowd, proving that XRP enthusiasts are a force to be reckoned with. Hogan reported that the conference venue was buzzing with energy, packed with 1,000 attendees at 1 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday, a time when most events struggle to fill seats. Yet, the XRP Las Vegas event shattered expectations, drawing an impressive crowd. But hey, we all know the truth, right? There's no XRP community. It's just bots, like those Bitcoin maxis keep insisting. None of us actually exist, right? Everyone in those photos, clearly just a swarm of XRP bots, not a single real human among us, except, of course, we know better. The XRP community is massive, gigantic even. And let's be honest, it's one of the strongest, most passionate communities out there. In fact, I'd argue it's the best. This is the XRP rich, and we're here to stay. Let's dive into the number of XRP wallets, over 6.5 million and counting. But hold on, does that mean 6.5 million people own XRP? Not exactly. Many individuals, including myself, own multiple wallets. So fewer than 6.5 million people are holding XRP, right? Maybe only 3 million? Not so fast. It's not that simple. I've gone in depth about this in a video a couple of months ago. Some of you might remember it. For now, I'll just give a quick snapshot to clarify things. Numbers can be tricky, especially when one person can have several wallets. Every wallet doesn't equal a unique person. But the story behind these numbers is worth exploring further. Maybe speculating, because let's face it, no one can know for sure that the number of people owning XRP might not be 6.5 million as often cited. In fact, it could be closer to 24 million. Here's why. I considered the split between those who custody their holdings and those who don't, and broke it all down using available data. Sure, it's just an educated guess, but the idea that only 6.5 million people hold XRP feels way too low. Think about it. Most XRP holders, as the public blockchain shows, own very small amounts. For many, it's likely just something they bought on an exchange, hold on to, and never think much about because it's not life-changing. These numbers suggest the pool of holders could be much bigger than we realize. Why bother with self-custody, right? For most XRP holders, just like with Bitcoin or ETH, investments tend to be small, so why stress over hardware wallets like Ledger or Nano? Most people don't. They just don't care enough to dive into the complexities. And honestly, the data backs it up. The majority of crypto investors take a simple approach: buy, hold, repeat. Based on some digging and numbers crunched from available data, it's estimated that around 24 million people worldwide hold XRP. Most people don't realize this, but XRP on exchanges is usually stored in shared wallets, meaning tons of people's XRP is all lumped into a single account. What that really means is there are way more people holding XRP than you might think. And the crazy part, even if the number of holders is way higher than the 6.5 million estimate, let's say it's 24 million, that's still just a fraction of the global population. Seriously, 24 million people is only about 0.25% of the world. Less than 1%. Now, here's the wild part. With such a tiny slice of humanity even aware of XRP, it's still hit an all-time high of $3.40. Think about that. Barely anyone knows it exists, and yet the price already skyrocketed. And it's not just about the number of people holding XRP, because most of them likely don't own huge amounts. That's normal for any crypto. But with XRP, you're looking at what's shaping up to be an obvious early market leader. It's the snowball effect. Liquidity drives liquidity. Price action sparks more price action. More money flows in. Big money flows in. So, if you have one person that has a net worth of $1 billion and one person with a net worth of $1,000, 0 cents, who do you think is putting in more? They both count as one human. But in terms of what that means for the impact of supply and demand dynamics for XRP, not the same thing. It's not even close to the same thing. So now we see bigger money flowing in. That's the thing. So it's not just about the fact that only 0.25% of humans, maybe on the high end, have ever bought XRP. It's that most of the biggest money has yet to get in. And we already saw it go as high as it has. How could that not be exciting? Speaking of big money, so I highlighted this the other day. This is just incredible news here. Viva Power raises $121 million, 0 cents to launch XRP treasury strategy with Saudi royal backing. It's just incredible. So essentially, they've built a business model around using XRP as a reserve asset, which seems a lot like Michael Saylor's playbook with Bitcoin. The idea is simple. People buy stock in Saylor's company to gain indirect exposure to Bitcoin. Now they're aiming to replicate that with XRP, betting on even bigger opportunities. It's a bold move, to say the least. Oh, and get this. The Saudi prince casually mentioned they've been in the XRP game for nearly a decade. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the gist. They're not just dabbling. They're putting serious money on the table. And now there's a major new twist in this story you'll definitely want to hear about. BitCo has teamed up with Vivo Power in a game-changing partnership to kickstart a $100 million 0 cents XRP acquisition as part of Vivo Power's bold new treasury strategy. BitCo, a top-tier provider of digital asset solutions, and Vivo Power International PLC, a publicly traded company pivoting to focus on XRP-centric treasury and decentralized finance solutions, have joined forces to make waves in the crypto space. With $121 million, 0 cents successfully raised, Vivo Power will rely on BitCo's exclusive over-the-counter OTC trading desk to secure its initial $100 million, 0 cents worth of XRP tokens. As expected, such large transactions are happening off the exchanges through OTC deals, keeping buy and sell orders out of public view. This partnership underscores the growing influence of XRP in institutional strategies. The XRP purchases are coming from entities that already hold it, which of course affects the supply and demand dynamics. However, you won't see an immediate impact if a large organization behind the scenes is selling that XRP. Their reserves shrink, leaving them with less to sell to others over the counter. This kind of activity still plays a role in the ecosystem. It's just that it doesn't show up on public order books, so market movements happen more gradually. That's how it works in the end, like ripples under the surface rather than waves crashing ashore. Everything in this ecosystem connects and influences the whole, no doubt about it. And this development, it's happening. The partner involved is a trusted name in custody and beyond, adding another layer of intrigue to the mix. John Deaton didn't hold back when reacting to the latest news. After the Bitcoin spot ETF was finally approved, practically forced through after battling Gensler's SEC, which was found guilty of acting arbitrarily and capriciously in its denial, he made a bold prediction. He said there was no doubt that altcoin ETFs, including those for ETH, XRP, Solana, and others, would eventually follow. Critics? Sure, some pushback on his forecast, but his logic was clear. Bitcoin has proven itself as the best performing asset in ETF in history, And Wall Street isn't about to ignore that kind of success. They'll want to replicate it even on a smaller scale while cashing in on fees. Deaton also pointed out that Michael Saylor's strategy of making Bitcoin a corporate treasury asset would inspire others. Companies, again, on a smaller scale, are starting to adopt similar approaches with certain altcoins like ETH, XRP, and Solana. I'm not here to cheer it on, but let's be real. Wall Street's greed has a way of making certain trends predictable. Whether it's legacy finance shifting gears or Bitcoin shaping its ecosystem, I want the same level of innovation and focus happening around XRP. Greed or no greed, XRP deserves a seat at the table, period. That's all I'm saying. And let's give credit where it's due. He called this one perfectly. I saw it coming too. Honestly, it felt obvious, but yeah, he nailed it. This is playing out exactly as predicted. Look at what's happening with the Saudis. Look at BitGo. Over $100 million poured into XRP and its ecosystem. They're taking a page out of Saylor's playbook, stacking Bitcoin with strategy, but they're doing it with XRP. And let's be real, it's only a matter of time before multiple XRP ETFs get the green light. He's spot on with this one. We've already got one in motion. What's next? This part excites me. We're on the attack. That's the message here. We're not just growing, we're pushing boundaries. Nothing is holding us back. The crypto crackdown in the US, it's done, my friends. Austin King, a former Ripple employee and Harvard grad who co-founded Omni, fun fact, he sold his first company to Ripple, recently shared a post that really struck a chord. He was all in, saying, hell yeah, absolutely, after attending XRP Las Vegas. Here's what he had to say. XRP Las Vegas confirmed one thing. The next 2 years are going to redefine crypto. Regulatory clarity is on the horizon. Institutions are stepping up. Adoption and growth are about to skyrocket. For those who missed it, here's the breakdown. The game has completely changed. The regulatory landscape has shifted in a big way. For the past decade, the crypto industry has been stuck playing defense. But now it's finally time to go on the offensive. With regulatory clarity starting to take shape, companies like Ripple and Omni Labs are finally stepping up and playing offense for the first time. Think about it. Over the past decade, all the growth and success we've seen hasn't been thanks to government support. In fact, it's been in spite of relentless pushback. But now the tide has turned. The momentum is ours and we've hit escape velocity. XRP's utility is skyrocketing. It's not just a bridge currency. It's a powerhouse in payments. People are even making everyday purchases with it. And let's not forget the real world asset tokenization happening on the XRP Ledger, revolutionizing financial systems. This isn't some distant future. It's happening now. Businesses are integrating XRP into their models and the use cases keep growing. I highlight this for a reason. The time to go on the offensive is here. The future's being built and XRP is at the core of it. Here's what's happening. Real world adoption of crypto is picking up speed, breaking the bubble it once lived in. The world's largest financial institutions are now embracing the power of crypto technologies, unlocking what I believe is the biggest wave of opportunity I've seen in my 8 years as a founder. A major shift is on the horizon. For years, some crypto projects have survived on flashy marketing alone, but they've struggled to achieve meaningful adoption. Now, the divide is becoming clear. The networks seizing these massive 100x mainstream opportunities are gaining real traction, while those relying solely on hype are falling behind. Over the next 2 years, we're going to see a major shift. Liquidity is moving away from marketing-driven companies and flowing into projects making a real-world impact. You know what that means? The money is chasing something that truly matters, utility. And guess what? Utility always wins. Sound familiar? That's because Ripple has embraced this mindset from day one. At Omni, it's the same story. Our mission is to drive real utility and adoption, making a tangible difference. If you're here right now, give yourself a pat on the back. You're early. The global financial system is being reshaped right in front of us. But I'll let you in on a secret. If you're jumping into crypto in 2025, you're still not late. Trust me, I got in back in 2017 and thought I'd missed the boat, but here I am watching the future unfold. So stick around. It's going to be wild. I knew deep down I wasn't late. This was a whole new asset class after all. But when I caught myself thinking those thoughts, wishing I'd known about it earlier, what I really meant was I wish I'd been lucky enough to stumble on this a year sooner, or even better, in 2010. Honestly, even 2012, 2013, 2014, or 2015 would have been amazing, but I didn't. I wasn't in the right circles. I wasn't exposed to it, and there was nothing I could have done. That was just the reality. Yet, despite all that, I was still early. Now, here we are, 8 years later. So if you're feeling like I wish I'd gotten in sooner. Trust me, I understand. But remember, you've still got time. Fast forward 5 or 10 years, and guess what? You'll be one of the OGs, the pioneers who were here in the early days. Yes, these are still the early days, even if it doesn't feel that way because you just arrived. The reality, only about 5 or 6% of the world's population owns any crypto. That's it. You're part of a small, exclusive club. Congrats. You've already won. Investing in crypto is like watching the lottery play out in slow motion. But here's the kicker. With this privilege comes responsibility. The journey is just beginning. We've only scratched the surface with 1% of the world onboarded. At Omni, we're making it seamless for institutions to join the blockchain revolution, just as easy as getting online. Share this thread and spread the word to help prepare your network for what's ahead. This post captures the energy perfectly. It's not just a sentiment, it's a wake-up call. If this doesn't excite you, what will? You're living in a pivotal moment in history, witnessing the birth of a brand new asset class. You're in an incredible position right now. This is a once-in-a-lifetime financial opportunity. A century from now, people will wish they had the chance to experience this moment, to seize this kind of potential. But we're here for it. Building generational wealth isn't just a dream, it's happening, especially in crypto. And let's be real, XRP is undeniably a massive part of this movement. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any buying or selling decisions just because I said so. That would be a seriously bad idea.